Hello and welcome to VR Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the Love Monsters Goblin. So yes, here we have the recently released Goblin-kun from the Love Toys / Love Monsters set from Alphamax. And they are basically just little 1/12 decently articulated figures of goblins. I personally bought them for use with Figma Goblin Slayer, but you can certainly use them for any other goblin-related needs that you have. They are also kind of sold with the intention of being used for lewd purposes, but they don't actually come with any lewd parts, so keep that in mind if that is what you want them for. Either way, they are certainly something worth picking up if you do need some 1/12 scale goblins for some reason. Starting off with a quick size comparison, of course here we have our Goblin. Here's our standard Marvel Legends 6-inch Cosmic Armor Iron Man and 3 3/4-inch Marvel Universe Wolverine. Of course, the Goblins are noticeably smaller than a standard American 6-inch scale figure and about the same size as a 3 3/4-inch figure. So they can easily be used with your Marvel Legends or other American scale things. And what everyone really wants to know, here he is next to the Figma Goblin Slayer, and he's about half the height of Goblin Slayer. And I think that's perfectly fine. They might could do with being a tad smaller, but this is well within reason. So I'd say that they are a very good option if that's what you want some goblins for. Now let's get everything else out of here and just look at our goblins. Moving on to our 360 spin, as you would expect, the goblins are pretty much entirely green. The bodies are fairly well shaded though, so there's a few different shades of green on there around the muscles and stuff. Sculpting is nice. They're sort of little pot-bellied goblins. Got decent musculature where that applies. They've got little leaves over their crotches and otherwise are completely unclothed. Altogether, they look fine for little nude goblins. Nothing really to complain about there. Head sculpt-wise, they do only have one face, which is a pretty big shame. But they've got their big goblin ears poking out on the sides. They're bald. Skin shading matches the rest of the body. They've got yellow eyes with little sideways slit pupils. Their eyes are articulated, so you can move those around. Then their mouth is open with some little pointy teeth, and their tongue is hanging out. The tongue is removable, but it looks a bit weird if you take it out. Overall, face looks perfectly fine. It would be really nice to have at least one other face, but that's really the only head sculpt related complaint I have. Articulation-wise, the goblins are decent, but not amazing, and I do have a few complaints. Head moves forward and back, side to side, rotates. Shoulders move in and out a little bit, forward and back, rotate around on the joint a little bit. Their shoulders are far more limited than I would really like. Hinge and rotation in the elbows, they only get about 90 degrees. Hinge and rotation in the wrists. Ball peg in the waist, you get a little bit of motion, but not a whole lot. Hips move in and out, forward and back, rotate around on the joint. Double jointed knees. And hinge and rotation in the ankles, so you can get them into some poses, but they're not super well articulated. They can mostly just do with some better torso articulation and much better arms. Accessories-wise, you get 4 sets of hands, 2 open hands, 2 two-finger hands, 2 rude gesture hands, and 2 holding hands. He could use some fist hands, but otherwise he's got all the basic kinds of hands covered. I would also be careful when swapping these hands, as I did have the peg break on one of them. The hands are on a bit tight and the joints are small, so they are very easy to break, and you don't get any extra joints or anything with this figure, so keep that in mind. And other than that, down here where the leaf is, that is removable, and you get a 3mm peg hole. You don't actually get anything proper to insert into it, but you do get 3 different size ball pegs that can peg into there. I'm not entirely sure exactly what those can attach to, but I assume it's compatible with something else that Love Toys makes. And that is all that you get. It's not exactly an amazing assortment of accessories. These figures were shown in promo pictures with lots of other stuff, but none of that other stuff is included. You'll have to get that from other sets of things that Love Toys has made. Packaging-wise, you get pretty standard little windowed boxes. Alphamax Love Monsters 001, picture of the goblin on the side. Big window, Goblin-kun, Skytube Premium. And on the back you get some pictures and poses for the figure, and a bunch of warning label stuff that I cannot read. As always, this kind of stuff is good for in or out of package display. And that about wraps it up for our Goblin. So until next time, goodbye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my content, feel free to subscribe and click that little bell thing. I've been told that that does something or other. You can also give me money to buy toys at patreon.com/vrreviews. See pictures of toys at instagram.com/vrreviews, or see tweets about toys at VenomRaptor09 on Twitter. And I would greatly appreciate you doing any of those things.